Members will reconvene this Education Conference Committee. And again, if we could please have the department come down to the table. And thank you again for making the commissioner available for her testimony. What we've done is we've taken the commissioner's testimony. The department was gracious enough to print that out for us, and we made copies for members to look at. And we're going to go through those sections that are agreed upon now that the department did not raise objections to that were in the initial report. And we will begin in Article 1, Sections 1, 2, and 3. And just a nod or acknowledgement from the department that nothing's changed to be good. So the chair will move adoption of Article 1, Sections 1, 2, and 3. Any discussion? Seeing none, all those in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. Opposed say nay. Motion prevails. Next, the commissioner did highlight 4 and 5 as having some concerns that would merit some consideration later, would be worth future conversations. Sections 6 and 7, and then we'll, Mr. Nauman, on Section 8, the department brought up a concern on page line 34, adding after the word fiscal to add the word second. It's a technical change.
Mr. Chair and members, I think on line 7.34, the department's preference was to say the second fiscal year following, so it would precede the word fiscal.
Okay. And there were no other changes needed to Section 8. Is that correct from the department's perspective? Okay. So the chair will move adoptions of Section 6. Oh, Senator Olson.
Mr. Chair, she made some comment about 1099s. I don't know if Mr. Melcher, was there one other, or who is it? Was one other provision relative to this section that?
Welcome to the committee, and please state your name for the record. Are our mics off again, or are they on still?
They are.
Okay.
Madam Chair, members of the committee, or Mr. Chair, members of the committee, we have a question about when these grants are then sent to the students, do they become income for purposes of the IRS? And that was the issue she raised. In the case of the other scholarships, those get paid directly to the universities. In the case of this one, it becomes a payment to the individual, and the question was raised as to whether there would be the need to issue a 1099, and that was something that would probably have to be addressed by MMB or the Department of Revenue, but it is an issue that she thought we should be conscious of and know that that may be a possibility. Some of the extenuating concerns might be then, I'm not sure how much money this would be directly to the student, but we've had some brief discussions with others about will that impact their financial aid too, but mainly it's the 1099, do we have to issue them, and who would be issuing them if it becomes a payment to the student?
Mr. Nauman?
Mr. Chair, I don't have a comment.
Okay. So, but that would certainly be outside the purview of this committee, and it's
correct. And she just wanted us to be conscious of it and at least have that understanding that that may be a necessity.
Okay. With the change to any other questions from members of the committee? With that change to Section 8, then the chair will move approval of Article 1, Sections 6, 7, 8 as amended by the department, 9, 10, 11, and 12. And again, this is consistent with the testimony we took. I'm seeing a nod from the department.
Yes, Mr. Chair, that is correct.
All right, the chair will move adoption of that. Any discussion? Seeing none, all those in favor, please signify by saying aye. Aye. Opposed, say nay. Motion prevails. It is adopted. We will hold off on Section 13 pursuant to the Commissioner's testimony. Section 14, this appears to be non-controversial. The chair will move Section 14.
Correct.
All those in favor, please signify by saying aye. Aye. Opposed, say nay. Motion prevails. 15, the Commissioner, again, this will be an item for future discussion. Section 16, this is agreed upon language, so all those in favor of Article 1, Section 16, please signify by saying aye. Aye. Opposed, say nay. Motion prevails. We'll now move to Sections 18. 17 is actually listed on the Commissioner's objections.
Yes.
So we're holding off on 13 and 17 as well as 15. And so I just lost track of what number we're on.
18.
17, what was the last section we approved? 16.
16,
Okay.
Mr. Chair.
So,
15.
so we are on,
16, we skipped 17.
we skipped 17, so now we're on 18.
Yep.
So it looks like 18 through 26, excuse me, 18 through 25. The chair will move Article 1, Section 18 through Section 25 of that same article.
Correct, Mr. Chair.
Okay. All those in favor, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, say nay. The motion prevails. 26 and 27 have been highlighted by the commissioner. We'll now move to Section 28 on page 18. Excuse me, Section 28 on page 20. The chair will move Article 1, Section 28. Any discussion? Seeing none, all those in favor, please signify by saying aye. Aye. Opposed, say nay. The motion prevails. We will hold off on 29, 30, and 31. We will also hold off on 32. The commissioner cited subdivisions 3 and 4, but we're going to wait on the appropriations language there. Next, we move to Article 2 of the bill. Looks like... Oh, excuse me. Thank you. Senator Hann moves approval of the reviser's instructions in Section 33, as well as the repealer of Section 34.
Mr. Chair,
Yes, Mr. Noman.
you may want to at least hold off on the paragraph A. That also relates to Senate File 1531, the PSEO bill from the
Yeah,
Senate.
that's good.
And given that you're holding off on those other sections, you may want to at least hold that one, too, to be consistent.
Okay, so we'll hold off on this. We'll just hold off on all of Section 34 then. So Senator Hann moves approval of Section 33. Any discussion? Seeing none, all those in favor, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, say nay. Motion prevails. We'll now move to Article 2. I believe Sections 1 through 7 are cool. Excuse me. No, that's not correct. Article 2, Sections 5 and 7, although they are not in the testimony, the department did highlight Sections 5 and 7.
Mr. Chairman.
Senator Hann.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. And with respect to Section 5, and I know that the Commissioner did raise that, although I am a little bit perplexed, I guess. What Section 5 is simply doing is changing a date from June to July. It is a notification, and it's making it consistent with notification for non-renewal for all the rest of the teachers, and it's just putting the probationary teacher. I am not aware that this has controversy, and I guess if there is controversy, maybe somebody here could talk about it, but I was not aware there was any.
Does the department have any feedback? Because I was under the same impression Senator Hann was with regards to this section.
Mr. Chair, members of the committee, I think the commissioner just indicated that perhaps there may be others that have concerns about it. If you've not heard from them, I guess she was just highlighting that as would that impact others that may have more concerns about this than we would.
Sure. Well, I'll tell you what. Is there anybody here who wishes to testify to Section 5 of Article 2 in opposition to it? Seeing none, I'm going to adopt Section 5 then.
Thank you, Mr.
Okay. Thank you, Senator Hann. So the chair will move adoption of Article 2, Sections 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6. Any discussion on Sections 1 through 6 of Article 2? Seeing none, all those in favor, please signify by saying aye. Aye. Opposed, say nay. Motion prevails. We will hold off on 7 and 8. We're now at Section 9. And we're going to hold off on Section 9 as well. Section 10 and 11.
They're good.
This is a long section, so let's just make sure.
She did not say so.
Okay, so Representative Erickson moves adoption of, let me make sure I got my sections right here, 10 and 11 of Article 2. Any discussion? Seeing none, all those in favor, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, say nay. Motion prevails. We will skip Section 12 as well as... Did we get Section 13 figured out to the Department's
Mr. Chair,
terms?
members of the committee, I think the bottom line here, we've been working with the school. I think we've received, their concern is about being identified as a priority or a focus school because of graduation rates. That, at least in the very clear sense, that's what I understand. We have had communication with the Department of Education in Washington. In fact, we have a meeting with the school and the governor's office tomorrow about this. We think this can be resolved without this language for that school in particular. And we don't think that this language solves their concern. That's the two issues. And so we would like to maybe have you hold off on this. The commissioner indicated she's more than willing to work with them on resolving it, and we think we have some documentation from the U.S. Department of Education that will address this issue without us necessarily. What this does is attempt to label them as a ALC in some ways. Our ALCs, their scores, if they're part of a district, do float up at the district level. If they don't have enough within a cell size, we still do account for them. Her concern is maintaining the accountability, but we're more than happy to try to address the issue of this particular school, and we think we have some way of doing it.
Is there anyone here from the School of Recording Arts? I am. Do you want to come down to the table just so we're not yelling? I'm sorry. Or so I never yell, just so you're not yelling. And we don't want to take exhaustive testimony, but you heard from the department. Are you guys in ongoing conversations with the department?
Yes, we are in ongoing
If you could please identify yourself for the tape.
Excuse me. My name is David Ellis, and I'm the founder of High School for Recording Arts. And we have been talking with the State Department, but I honestly have a great concern with regards to how this is playing out, because I think that there definitely needs to be some legislation that addresses this issue, because it's going to come up again. We dealt with it about a year and a half ago when they went through the race to the top, and I think that the way they're trying to address the ALCs is how I liken hiding the pea under the shell. You're taking these numbers and you're basically manipulating them like they do with derivatives and financial finagling, and we need to have the protection of some legislation that stops schools that are part of the solution from being caught in the gears.
Understood.
And throwing out.
So what we'll do then is it sounds like we don't have peace in the valley yet, but there's conversations taking place. So I think I'm going to follow the department's advice, and we're going to hold off on adopting this section, and we'll continue that for either later today, after the recess. So thank you very much, sir. Appreciate you being here. Okay, so members, we're going to hold off on Article 2, Sections 12 and 13. Sections next are 14, 15, and 16.
Mr. Chairman.
Senator Hann.
Mr. Chairman, I'd like to request that Section 16 not be adopted at this point. I think there is some language on page 45, paragraph E and 6E, and that language, I think there may be some question that would be useful to hear some more about.
So what we'll do then is we'll move adoption of Article 2, Sections 14 and 15. Any discussion? Seeing none, all those in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. Opposed, say nay. Motion prevails. We'll now move to Article 2, Sections 18 and 19. Senator Olson, I think you probably want to move Sections 18 and 19. Is that correct?
Sure.
Senator Olson moves that. Any discussion? Seeing none, all those in favor, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, say nay. The motion prevails. We're now on to Section...
21.
No, we're on 20, but I'm wondering,
No, 20, there's an issue.
on paragraph J they did, but not in the other language.
We may have to hold until we have the answer on the levy stuff that we're working on, right?
Okay, so we'll hold off on section.
Mr. Chair, members, my understanding of the department's concern was that the commissioner testified that she felt that there was a new precedent established with paragraph J.
And that the attributing it to a property tax increase, but there's other stuff planned. So we'll just hold off on Section 20 for now. Section 21, Senator Olson will move adoption of Article 2, Section 21. All those in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. Opposed, say nay. Motion prevails. We'll hold off on Article 2, Section 22. The chair will move adoption of Article 2, Section 23. Any discussion? All those in favor, please signify. Senator Stump.
Just curious, could you just have maybe staff just mention what the repealers are?
Oh, sure, I can tell him. Section 23 repeals the Senate.
Mr. Chairman, I think we're okay with that. So.
Well, as long as it's not a roll call, is that? No, Mr. Nauman or Mr. Strom or Mr. Crow, if you want, I believe that the repealers there are the community services. Oh, I'm sorry. If we can go to.
Mr. Chair and members, the repealers all came from Senator Chamberlain bill, which repealed a lot of obsolete language. The one is for some definitions or some permissive language for the school site mediation boards and ombudspersons, as well as a teacher license definition that was, there's no one who fits under that definition anymore, and also the Office of Educational Accountability, and the repeal of the profile language, and a school board duty that's also obsolete that we actually struck in one of the previous sections.
Okay, very good. Any good questions, Senator? Any additional questions?
Read the statutes all summer.
Good for you, Senator Chamberlain. All those in favor of Article 2, Section 23, excluding the repeal of the Senate, please signify by saying aye. Aye. Opposed, say nay. Motion prevails. We move on now to Article 3. And my notes, I'm just going to review this, is that all of Article 3 is okay. Correct?
That's correct.
Okay, the chair will move adoption of Article 3. Any discussion? Seeing none, all those in favor, please signify by saying aye. Aye. Opposed, say nay. The motion prevails. The article is adopted. So, members, that is the agreed-upon language now. We will, the commissioner is unavailable now. We're going to recess to the call of the chair. Please just stay tuned for announcements. We'll be reconvening. We'll announce the time and location of meeting later. Yeah, we might, out of deference to the Senate, we'll probably be over in the Capitol, if that's okay with Senator Olson.
Sure. Would be wonderful.
All right. Good work, and thank you again to the department for being available. We'll be in touch.
Thank
We'll
you.
see you later on today. Members, we are recessed to the call of the chair. Thank you.